What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 38 of Hit the Books, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of sports and sports gambling. Each episode, we break down the latest news and trends, provide analysis, and offer up our best bets and betting advice. So let's jump into this week and hit the books. On this week's episode, we got the third round of the NHL and the NBA playoffs underway. We're all super thrilled about that one. Not to mention, in the MLB, we released our first power rankings of the year. I want to look over some early season statistics. Also, the NFL schedule was released last Thursday, so I want to get the guys' first impressions on that, plus all the schedule changes coming up in this episode. So let's move into this week's episode and introduce my co-hosts, Huff, Ace, and Mackie. Mackie, let's start off with you this week. Back home in New York, you graduated, buddy. Congratulations to Mackie on graduating college. He's the last one of us four. We all did it. It's big claps from Huff, big claps from all of us. What do you got to say, Mackie?
Yeah, eventful weekend. Nice to get a degree, get it out of the way. 5 years down only took me, took me long enough. So, yeah, not much going on. Just excited to be home and, just get back into the swing of things.
Good stuff. Huff, let's shoot it over to you next. What do you got for us what do you got for us this week, buddy? Another week on the show.
Yeah, what's going on? Happy to be back. Happy to see those Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals. Denver Nuggets with a big performance in Game 1. Just riding those picks right now that I've had on the future, and both looking pretty nice right now. Vegas is a favorite in their series. I'm excited about that. We'll get into that in a little bit. But other than that, not much going on with me. Two pretty uneventful weekend for myself, aside from Mackie, who had a pretty big one. So, yeah, other than that, not much else. Happy to be back.
Good stuff there. And let's finish it off this week with Ace. Ace, what do you got for us this week? Pretty eventful start to the episode for you.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty hyped that the Celtics saved face for Boston in that Game 7. Big blowout win over the Sixers. I'm sure we'll get to that. But other than that, got the MLB in full swing, and the NHL has been rocking. Got to see the Leafs get demolished, so you always love to see that. Ready to talk another week, ready to get it rolling.
Good stuff. We're all ready. We're all here. Let's jump into this week's episode. We're going to start off this week with a little segment, your three most despised, most hated sports teams on your list. My first one is a pretty obvious one. I'm not a big fan of the Philadelphia Flyers. That was the big rivalry when I was a kid. I think died down. It's definitely died down, over the years, but Pens and the Flyers always had a good rivalry. Being a Penn State student, I got two coming out of Penn State, Ohio State and Pitt. I hate Ohio State. I've grown to like Pitt more. I mean, I enjoy going to their events and stuff at Pearson Event Center and stuff downtown, but I hate Ohio State. There's nothing more I hate than Ohio State. And the fact that Addison lives right there, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I hate this place.
I never had that kind of passion for Ohio State because obviously you're the Penn State guy, but yeah, that's a solid top three. Definitely the rivalry with the Flyers definitely has died down, like you said, in the past so many years because the Flyers have just been irrelevant. But yeah, that's a solid top three.
All right, I guess I'll go. Number one, I'm gonna go Atlanta Braves. Being a Mets fan, just kind of embarrass us every year. Last year was a cherry on top. They swept us in the second to last series of the season, and they took first place, and they just kind of embarrassed us the last few years. So a little recency bias on that, but I'll go Atlanta Braves. Number two is the New Jersey Devils, which is also probably a recency bias, but these fans just get under my skin so bad, and they're just such assholes about Jack Hughes and Kako and everything. Just can't stand them. Absolute dickheads. Number three, who is number three? Oh yeah, the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles. You can thank Jimmy Beal for this one probably because ever since college it's been a lot worse. But God, these fans are the worst in history. They never mind, that was a different team. But this team, I just don't. Nothing about them is good. They're rowdy and you just get under my skin, and Dallas never really wins, so that doesn't help either. But yeah, those are my three.
Yeah, that's a solid three. I like that.
Mac, you know what I'm happy I can say about my teams though, at least from recency bias. From
I
the
don't.
last
I
three you
don't. I
said.
don't want to hear. I don't want to hear about Boston's championships right now. It's
No,
not
I'm
another
just gonna
thing I wanna
say
hear.
all those teams you just alluded to hating, they all beat up on you throughout the course of our lifetime too.
Yeah.
Especially in the big moments, which is tough. At least my rivals we own because it's title town. But I guess I'll jump into mine right now. Some honorable mentions. People would think like, oh, the Jets or the Bills because like such a big Pats guy. But those teams have been so bad that they're not really rivals. Like I guess the Bills are a bit more now. But the goddamn Jets, they're terrible. Don't have to worry about them. You don't even have to with Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, coming in at 3, I'll start with the Montreal Canadiens. Always hate the Habs, more so growing up than recently because they've been kind of trash. But that's a great rivalry in Boston. It usually gets pretty chippy. Recall Andrew Ference in that Stanley Cup playoff run, flipping off the crowd when he scored. That's a vintage moment that lives rent free in those Canadians' heads too. So definitely fuck the Habs. Number 2 coming in, gonna stick with hockey again. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. I absolutely despise that team. I could never root for them. It's terrible that Austin Matthews ended up going there. But it's so great to see them lose year in and year out. And that's just a trash franchise. I think Huff was alluding to some fan bases when we were talking before this. And that's definitely one of my least favorite one in sports. Love seeing them cry in the pavilion on the big screen. Can't beat that. The number 1, you probably could have guessed, is the New York Yankees. I mean, ugly, like the jerseys, just the evil empire. Like, hate those guys so much. Love to see the good guys, Boston Red Sox, like the dirty water, just like the dogs coming along and just like knocking them off. So yeah, hate that payroll, hate Steinbrenner, Aaron Judge, everything about it. Pinstripes, they suck. Not a Yankees guy at all.
Dirty water really gets me.
I expected the Yankees.
Nobody in America thinks the Boston Red Sox are the good guys.
Oh, I think they're the good guys. They get to have beards and they get to have long hair, like Johnny Damon becoming a traitor, going to the Yankees, like Babe Ruth, like hundreds of years before him. Like you break the curse in 04 and like you're Johnny Damon with the flow and the beard, and then you're like, nah, I'm going to play for the Yankees.
And then he won in 09. No, wasn't he on that 09 team?
Yeah, but he wasn't like an integral piece of it.
He still got a ring with them.
Yeah, but such a traitor though. Like Jacoby Ellsbury, same thing. Like, how could you ever go back to that team? Like, oh, the Yankees, like the fights too. Pedro Martinez, like
throwing that manager. Yeah, that was so funny. That is a top moment. I love so Pedro nice. Though. I love Pedro.
04 is like the best series of sports in my life. That's that 04 coming back from 3-0 against the Yankees. Like, come on. Just complete opposite of Boston. So yeah, it's got to be there.
Yeah, I expected the Yankees definitely in your top 3 whenever you said that.
I hate them though.
Yeah, I'll get into my 3. Like you said, mine are a little bit more recency. Obviously, all have to do with Pittsburgh sports and us not having a basketball team. There's not really any like basketball fan base that I ever have any too much of an encounter with because I'm not really too one-sided either way with the NBA. So mine are just football and hockey based. Number 3 is going to be the Cleveland Browns. Just an organization that the Steelers have owned throughout my entire lifetime, other than one joke of a playoff game. But it's all right. Browns didn't win anything that year. They went on to get trounced by the Kansas City Chiefs the next week. Number 2 is going to be the Washington Capitals. Always hated the Capitals. That was a rivalry going on with the Penguins and Capitals. Sid, Ovechkin. It was pretty, the 2 guys in the NHL for most of our younger years of our life. Sid always owned them. Sid has 3 cups. Ovi has 1. I hated when Ovi ended up getting the 1, but I'll take 3 over 1 any day of the week. And then number 1 is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals for obvious reasons. Some bad blood between the Steelers and Bengals throughout the past 10 years. It starts with the perfect hit on Antonio Brown, the juju, the dancing on the logo. There's just always been stuff going with the Steelers and Bengals. And one of my favorite Super Bowls was watching Aaron Donald sack Joe Burrow over and over again and the Rams beating them, because I would not have been able to live down a Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl championship. That's my top 3. I absolutely can't stand the Cincinnati Bengals. Out of all the teams in our division, I say them because they obviously, I guess I fear them the most. Like, they're definitely going to have the most success out of every team in our division. They're the going in favorite to win a Super Bowl contender. That's just I fear them the most, and that's the team I just absolutely can't stand. I love their uniforms. I just fucking hate the team. They always have scumbags on the team, and shit always happens when they play the Steelers. So, not a Bengals guy.
I'm surprised, Huff. I mean, you gave great reasoning, and you actually convinced me why Cincinnati could be there with like guys like Perfect and then dancing on the logos and stuff like that, like the fighting.
Pac-Man Jones back in the day, dude, I like Pac-Man because he's a West Virginia guy, but dude, him and the Steelers used to go at it perfect. Like,
I was expecting Ravens though, like so heavily, especially like the old school Ravens Steelers when it was like Jerome Bettis versus Ray Lewis.
I was gonna say that, I'm more of a fan of Ravens players than I am of Bengals players. I like Burrow and I like Chase, but like I was always a Ray Lewis guy. I always loved Ray Lewis. I always loved Terrell Suggs. Like I always like. Yeah, I'm not. See, I like Lamar, but like I'm not like dying. I'm definitely gonna pick Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? Like if we're talking that, but. That's the main reason. I don't hate the Ravens. I hate when they beat us because their fan base is obviously very arrogant about when they play the Steelers and when they beat them. But Steelers go the same way when we beat them. It's a divisional rivalry, AFC North. I mean, everyone kind of hates everyone. The Browns are just kind of the little brother of the division. So, but like I said, Browns, Caps, Bengals. You could throw honorable mention the Ravens and just take the whole AFC North in the top four.
I thought that Jesse's pick of the Flyers is just the perfect Pittsburgh pick, though. Like that Philly, like Penguins Flyers matchup. Oh, that's such like a brutal one. Funniest thing, I went to the Stadium Series game with one of my buddies, up in Pittsburgh. Not even a Flyers or Penguins fan, but rep the Claude Giroux jersey. The amount of chirps, like stray chirps, thrown my way throughout the whole stadium was hilarious. I was just laughing the whole time. I was like, "Well, thank God I'm not a Flyers fan."
Yeah, definitely Flyers are up there, but like I said, they're just they haven't. When's the last time Flyers made the playoffs?
I just know that the chirp that everybody was saying at the stadium was like 1974, whatever year they last won a cup. People kept saying that to me. Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm like, what is that? And my buddy's a Flyers fan. He's like, we don't talk about that. I was like, that sucks.
That's good. That's good. All right, boys. Solid top threes here this week. Looking forward to doing that each and every week. Let's jump into this week's episode. Let's start off with the NHL. The first point I have here is voters struck down 3 proposals to propose. Oh gosh, restart that. Voters struck down 3 proposals to approve a new Coyotes arena in Tempe, Arizona. The NHL is terribly disappointed and will review options with the team moving forward. What do we think unfolds for this franchise, boys? You know, the NHL deputy commissioner today said that he doesn't foresee the team playing anywhere other than Mullet Arena next season. This is all just very up in the air, all this arena stuff and this team moving and things. I saw a list of different cities like Quebec City and Atlanta and all that junk. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
I saw one that, speaking of the relocation factor, I saw one that the Utah Jazz owner is very interested if this team goes for sale and moving them to Salt Lake City.
Get a team in Salt Lake City. I like that.
I've seen Houston as a proposed spot too. Texas.
Yeah, why has Houston always been so big? Are they just going to play at the Toyota Center? Like, I guess Texas anywhere with an NBA arena, in my opinion, is immediately in play, right? Because they can just immediately take over that arena.
Yeah, that's not a bad
theory
theory either.
Yeah.
And like I know, like there's some places that have like, I don't even know, like huge. Jesse, you would know more than us. You go to all these cities and go to these huge venues. Like
mostly all of them have ice. They do because they all do Disney on Ice. They all do all these other shows that bring in money. So they have ice.
Yeah, like whether it's a convention center or something, like they'll figure it out. But like I just feel like, in my opinion, the cities. When I think of an NHL or an NBA team that needs to relocate, first one I think of is where cities. Like for example, if an NBA team needs to relocate, like not saying Pittsburgh's the best market, but like, hey, we already have the venue. Like, play Penguins and whoever's going to come here for the NBA team from Pittsburgh. And, like, I just feel like it's a lot easier than building a new arena. You know what I mean? Going through that whole stress of $1 billion construction project. But, Ace, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have 2 points really on this. The first one was I was pretty surprised. You see the players on social media, like Clayton Keller, kind of disappointed that didn't go through. I'm surprised that they don't want to get out of Arizona and play in a bigger market. Maybe they just enjoy living there, or they've been there.
Dude, you'd enjoy living there.
To live there. Yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. That's definitely got to be the only reason. And Keller's like their franchise guy.
Yeah, but it also takes away from Austin Matthews looking there, you know? no longer a
Matthews
hometown
isn't
team.
leaving Toronto, and it was too
Why
big of a
not? They
market.
can't win anything.
He's just a superstar on one of the biggest teams in the league.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever leave there either.
Oh, I do. I think he'll leave eventually, 100%.
He resigns this year for sure, though.
Yeah. Maybe not yet, but I don't think he wins the cup there.
If he doesn't win one and he's a dinosaur and he chases a cup, I could see that. But
I could
my
see it a
second
little
point
before.
before we get to that, on this Arizona Coyotes arena thing, I just honestly hope that stays in the U.S. I don't hope they go. I hope they don't go up to like Canada and Quebec City or something like that. Ontario, all those different areas they always talk about putting a team in. Like, just keep it in the U.S. Sad to see it go. I remember the Phoenix Coyotes. I mean, Shane Doan and them. Come on, it's like the Atlanta Hawks all over again. Atlanta Thrashers, my bad.
Thrashers, I was gonna say. You mean the Thrashers?
But they should throw a team back in Atlanta. They already had one there. Was it just not succeeding? Is that why they got rid of them? I don't know. I don't remember
Same
how that
story
worked.
here with Arizona.
I remember the Atlanta Thrashers. I just feel like there was no one at their games.
I think that's
Yeah.
what
Matt
it was. Yeah.
Sundin, Mark Savard, Keith
Colby
Kachuk.
Armstrong, Ilya Kovalchuk,
Yeah.
Kovalchuk. I
I
mean,
just remember Keith
Atlanta's
Dustin
Atlanta's not
Byfuglien started his career in Atlanta.
he started there.
Yeah, that's when the Winnipeg Jets, before the Winnipeg Jets moved to Winnipeg, they were the Atlanta
Yeah.
Thrashers. And when he was a rookie or his second year, they were still in Atlanta. You can get a Thrashers Dustin Byfuglien jersey.
That's Dusty.
Yeah, Atlanta would be a cool team.
I don't think Atlanta has a big hockey following though.
No, but like my thing is like I know the Coyotes are in the West, and like if we're talking like me and Addison got on a conversation the other day about all these expansion teams. If this is just like true expansion, this is like a relocation. This is a whole different story because they're already in the West, so they probably would look to stay in the West, I would assume. But if they're coming to Quebec City or any of these, Hartford, I saw was an option. That would be sick. The Hartford Whalers if they came back, but I don't know. I just feel like the West is where they are. I feel like Salt Lake City is the easiest move if they're moving.
For sure. I agree with that.
I like Salt Lake City. That'd be cool.
Curious to see what ends up of that stuff. So we'll make sure to keep some tabs on that. But let's jump in and review the second round of the NHL playoffs. Starting out, the Dallas Stars oust the Seattle Kraken in Game 7 by a score of 2-1. Rupe Hintz continues his stellar postseason. Dallas will move on to play the Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals. And with that, the Vegas Golden Knights send the Edmonton Oilers packing for yet another year. In 6 games, Jonathan Marchessault nets a hat trick on Sunday night to send the Knights to the Western Conference Finals. What do we think's happening here with the Oilers? Do you think the core is going to stay intact? Things like that. Curious to hear what you guys think about what's going on in the west side of the round 2.
Just quick on the Oilers, since we're not going to touch them too much here since they're already out of it. Expected a lot more from McDavid in a career year. Surprised that it didn't even go 7, but the Knights are a wagon. They've been there before. We talked about them all year. I think you just got to reshuffle around them. I mean, they didn't really have anybody that helped. They've been trying to add people. It didn't really work out. It's just still the Draisaitl McDavid show. Find the goaltender. Find some defensemen. It's out there, but you just got to do it correctly. I'd move some of those depth offensive pieces. You already got McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah, I don't know if McDavid's ever going to really find success out there. The back end is just not it. They can't figure it out year in, year out. They've known the problem for the past 5-6 years. It's just they can't get it done. They can't figure it out. You brought in Jack Campbell who had a stellar season in Toronto and shits the bed. It was a fluke season. So I don't know. They got to figure something out. McDavid's going to start getting frustrated.
Yeah, this is one. I don't know how many more years we're going to have of McDavid in Edmonton if they keep this up, but I was hyped to see Vegas advance here. So not much else coming from me on this series. Just glad to see Vegas advance. I think that's going to be a tough series with Dallas, though. I don't know if we're on that yet, but I do think it's going to be a hard series.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen Dallas. Every single year in and year out, they love going to Game 7 more than anyone else. And those Golden Knights, you guys have been on them for a while. Huff's been on him since he's been there at least. But yeah, they're tough out. They've been there. Great coach with Bruce Cassidy too. I mean, he's been on these runs with the playoffs before. He's been to the Stanley Cup and lost. just like the core of this team. And they have some proven winners with Petrangelo and whatnot.
Yeah, I like their core and Eichel and Marchessault, Stone. They're all really kind of catching fire at the right point. And Aiden Hill is playing great in between the pipes. I really like their chances. That's why I think, and I'm hyped because I honestly for some reason thought Dallas was going to have home ice if they won, but Vegas obviously gets the home ice in the series. So I think that was huge in the Oilers series, and I think it's going to be huge in this series. Obviously because they don't have the better goalie in the series. Ottinger is obviously the better goaltender. So they're going to have to put shots on him and take advantage of their home ice and put pucks in net on power plays and have. I think game one, if Vegas needs to come out big in game one, or I'm not saying it's a 7-game series and you know what I mean, best of 7, but I really want to see Vegas put a statement out there in game one.
I honestly have the Knights in this. I'm riding with you guys. I think I might throw in a future, even though I like the Panthers, and I think Mackey does too. I might at least take them to win this round. Jesse, do you have the odds on that by any chance? Vegas to win this round? I believe they're probably like minus 140.
Yeah, it is
minus 140.
It's minus. They're both minus 140 plus 115. Hurricanes are minus 140 and the Knights are minus 140 to win.
Let's not discredit the Dallas Stars. Look at what they did. They have Joe Pavelski, Jason Robertson, Jamie Benn, Rupe Hintz, Tyler Seguin, the defenseman Heiskanen. And they have Lindell. They have, what's his name, Ottinger in the net. I mean, that's a good team. But the only thing that does scare me coming into this series is the suffocating way the Knights play and how loose Dallas played against Seattle Kraken. I mean, that's not that talented of a roster, even though we like them. But they gave up a lot of goals, and I expected more to Ottinger. Mackie, what do you think about that?
Yeah, Ottinger is definitely not having the postseason everyone was expecting. It's a little different from last year. He obviously stood on his head for 7 games against the Calgary Flames. Fell a bit short, but the Stars have been favorites two straight series. Yeah, and it hasn't been Ottinger that's been winning them games. It's been that offense, that stellar offense. Rupe Hintz is having an incredible postseason. Obviously, you have Sagan, Pavelski. Pavelski's been putting up the goals. Jamie Benn too, but this team is not relying on their goaltender, and he hasn't really been performing. So I do really like Vegas in this series, and I am probably going to end up taking their future before game one. But if Ottinger can catch hot, I mean, this team is really scary. But he's been off his game. I don't think his confidence is there right now. So I don't really think Dallas gets out of this. I think Vegas applies a little too much pressure, and they're honestly probably the better team in my opinion. But like you said before, the better goaltender should definitely be a big factor in this game. And if Ottinger is playing his best hockey, he's definitely a better goaltender and can steal the series.
Both teams have a lot of playoff experience, a lot of Western Conference Finals experience on their roster. I think guys like Joe Pavelski are going to play a huge role. He already has throughout the playoffs. But I really like Bruce Cassidy and the Vegas Golden Knights here with the home ice advantage. I really think this team's due. I mean, they don't have a franchise Stanley Cup yet, so it might be about time. Here's a question I have for you guys, though. Do you think the winner of this series do you like the winner of this series to win the Cup, regardless of who it is?
I like the winner of the Eastern Conference Finals to win the Cup.
Yeah, I like in this order. I like the Panthers and the Knights, and then I like I'm on those two really. Those are my Cup picks.
I just think that the winner. I mean, the Canes are playing incredible hockey, and we've always just. The problem with them is, are they going to perform in the postseason? And I don't even think they've gotten past the second round since they've been a powerhouse organization. So, they got over the hump. If they can get past this Panthers team that has all the momentum in the world right now, I think they can definitely take it to either of these Western Conference Finals teams. The East has been a wagon the entire season, so I still expect the Cup to come out of the East.
You know what's crazy is we talk about people that are due for wins or due for championships. I'm gonna say all 3 of these teams, besides the Panthers, but like you said, the momentum they have is massive. They're playing great hockey. Nobody wants to play them. They're a buzzsaw. But those other 3 teams, those are the teams where you look at and you say, who's due for a cup? Those 3 teams the last few years are due to win a Stanley Cup. They've been right there.
Panthers. I was just gonna say the Panthers are kind of the Lakers this season. They're both just teams that turned it up at the All-Star break and didn't really look back. So. Pretty cool. You don't really see these low seeds this deep in the playoffs usually.
Yeah, we'll give our series prediction when we get down to the rest of the Eastern Conference and Western Conference final stuff.
Yeah, you guys did pretty good there. giving an overall overview of the Western Conference Series. Vegas in the Stars, Game 1 here on Friday, Game 2 Sunday, Game 3 Tuesday, Game 4 next Thursday. So lots to look forward to as we get more into that series. Moving over to the Eastern Conference, the Florida Panthers send the Toronto Maple Leafs home in just 5 games, as well as the Carolina Hurricanes sending the Devils home in 5. The Panthers, who are plus 115 to win the series, who are the last team to make the playoffs, will play the Carolina Hurricanes. Like I said, they're minus 140 to win their series. Who do we see from this matchup heading towards the finals?
Yeah, I already kind of touched on this, but I do think the Florida Panthers come out of this series. Two teams that are playing incredible hockey, but the Panthers, honestly, I like their roster overall. Matthew Tkachuk has proved to be one of the most valuable playoff players of this season, definitely. But in the past few years, this guy is just an absolute animal, putting the puck in the net and setting the tone. So obviously, a huge plays a huge role in this series. It's going to be interesting to see if Teravainen can make his way back. A lot of people were saying that he was out for the season, but I saw something that says he can definitely come back for the series, maybe even Game 1. So he could be a huge deciding factor as well. But I like Bob and the Panthers. I like this momentum. Them to keep riding this momentum into the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, Mackie, I think one thing that I really agree with you, that most people didn't really take into consideration coming into this playoffs, is that Panthers roster. I mean, it's deep on offense, and those guys have legs, and they can put pucks in that. They have Matthew Tkachuk, they have Sam Bennett, they have Anthony Duclair, Luis Terrainen, they have Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe's been putting pucks in. And then we didn't even say Barkov yet. I mean, that's a deep lineup. Gudas is playing great hockey on the back end. Paul Maurice is chasing a cup, and he gets to match up with Brendan Moore here again. But that star-studded Hurricanes team is not going to go down easy, especially with the home ice advantage, which really scares me, is if this goes to 7 and they're at home in Carolina. But we've seen that they're beatable there this year. I think the Islanders took them out there, and so did the Devils maybe once. So I think it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to love the overs here with so many stars on that Hurricanes team. The addition of Brent Burns. I mean, this team, I've said it a lot on this podcast, but this team is the most due for a cup out of all of them. All those names, I could list them off for the Hurricanes too, but I think with the weaker goaltending, even though Bob's playing good, I like a lot of goals here, but I'm going to ride with the momentum, like Mackie said. The Cinderella story, it's the NHL. How many times have we seen 8 seeds win in our life? A lot. I'm curious to see who Huff sides with here, but I've got the Panthers at plus 115 taking the series.
I'm not as confident, you guys. I do like the Panthers. I'm going to ride the momentum, but I think there's a chance that the Panthers could start this series down 0-2 in Carolina. So that's the only thing that's faded me away from taking that Panthers to win this series pick or to jump on it so quick. But I definitely think the series is going 7. But I think there's a chance that Carolina could start this series up. Obviously 1-0 for sure on their home ice, if not 2-0, and that's the only thing that scares me about going against Carolina, because like you said, the way they play on home, it's a complete opposite on the road. And the Panthers, the way they play, if they're able to put pucks in the net and Bobrovsky's able to keep them in the game like he has throughout these entire playoffs, I can't fade this Panthers team. This is a really tough series for me. I just think it goes for sure 6-7 games, but I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that you said about is that you think going up Game 1, I was thinking that too. But let's remember something. This Panthers team is playing with all the confidence in the world. I think that first goal is so important because that first win they had up in Toronto stunned the league. It stunned the Leafs. They're like, oh shit. That's the oh shit moment right there is when you lose Game 1. And if the Panthers can go into Carolina where the Hurricanes are so good and so unbeatable and that great team, and the Panthers take Game 1, we could see them go and take the money and run really quick and get out of there in 4 or 5 games. Take the win right out of the sails of the Hurricanes. It's what they've done to the Bruins. I mean, the Bruins went 7 in overtime, but that's crazy. But they did it right to the Leafs after people kind of bought into the hype after that first round. And I think they could do it here again. That first goal, first game is so crucial for Brendan Moore and his team.
Yeah, that is a good point. That's just the only thing that's keeping me away from jumping at Florida so much. But because I think Carolina's so good on their home ice, and obviously the first 2 games are in Carolina. So It's really gonna. This series kind of starts for me. If it's 2-0, it really doesn't start until a road team loses or a home team loses.
What I think either Mackie or you said this earlier, either a week or two ago. Let's not discount the Florida Panthers on the road either. They've been a great road team this entire playoff run, which is also giving me some scare into that Hurricanes fan base.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But like you said, that if we're going off who's the most due, I have to say the Carolina Panthers, or the Carolina Panthers. I did
You
it.
gotta say the Carolina Panthers. You got it.
That's the first time we did it this series. I'd have to say the Carolina Hurricanes, but yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I'll go Panthers in 7, or I'll stick with 7. I'll give myself the insurance.
If the Panthers take game 1, they could win this in 5, though. 5 or 6. I'm telling you.
I could see 6 if they take 1, but go ahead. What do you think, Mackie?
I'm going to say they steal 1 of 2 on the road, and then they just win both at home, lose game 5, and then win it in game 6 at home.
You don't think they'll be defeated, the Carolina Hurricanes? I feel like that's a team that's like one of those, they ride the momentum so heavily, and when they're low, they're low. I feel like, especially those 2 weak goaltenders they have, the overrated Frederick Anderson and the career backup Antti Ranta. I mean, if they can win one game 1, I'm saying, and then they take them both at home, I'll still say them in 6 like Jesse to be safe here. But yeah. But before I lose this thought, you want to know something we should do? Post this up on social media. Teams most due to win the Stanley Cup. That's a good stat. We say it a lot.
Alrighty, boys. Good stuff there out of the NHL. The third round underway, so lots to look forward to as we dive deep into those series as they continue into next week. Let's jump into the NBA. We're also on the third round here in the NBA. To wrap up the second round, the Denver Nuggets crushed the Phoenix Suns in Game 6, winning that series 4-2. Phoenix, who traded for Kevin Durant at the trade deadline, have been blown out in elimination games on back-to-back years. Pretty disappointing there for the Suns, but Nuggets move on. With that, Jason Tatum dropped 51 points in Game 7. The Celtics cruised to an easy 118-112 victory, sending them to the Eastern Conference Finals for a rematch of the bubble versus the Miami Heat. Tatum's 51 points are the most in a Game 7 in NBA history, passing Curry's 50 points that was set just last series versus the Sacramento Kings. So more records being broken, more things happening as we move into these next series. The Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics taking over the East here. There's one more point I got to say. The Lakers beat the Warriors in Game 6, 122-110, closing out the series 4-2. Lakers move on to the Western Conference Finals. Or no, hold on. I said both for the East. No, I did one West, one East. I'll just read them all. Lakers beat the Warriors in Game 6, 122-101, closing out the series 4-2. Lakers will move on to the Western Conference Finals where they'll face the number 1 seed, the Denver Nuggets. Lakers are 7-0 all-time in playoff series versus the Nuggets, while the Lakers come in as underdogs, plus 125 to win the series. With that, the last series in the East, the Miami Heat defeat the New York Knicks in Game 6 by a score of 96-92, sending the Miami Heat to the Eastern Conference Finals to play the Boston Celtics. This will be the first 8 seed to make the Eastern Conference Finals since 1999. So let's jump into these series here. Let's start with the East, the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Ace, your Boston Celtics, Game 1 here starting tonight. What do you think? Round 3?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, coming into the podcast this week, grabbing that Game 7 win was so monumental. Last time we talked, I predicted that series to a T. Celtics take Game 6, handle business on the road, get the job done at home. Jason Tatum has that quote saying he's one of the best basketball players in the world, proves it in Game 7. And now here we are in that same scenario, playing the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals again. Not going to say it's an easy task. Honestly, I had more confidence in beating the Sixers than the Heat, but I still think that the Celtics get the job done. I've had that future on them since like November or something like that. So definitely riding that out. I mean, the Celtics have so many depth pieces, and they're playing great basketball. Al Horford, playoff performer. Malcolm Brogdon, stud. Derek White. You got Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, obviously. Big Rob. I mean, that's a great team, and they match up really well with these Heat. I think they're going to Huff. I know Huff's all over them tonight. He thinks that they might win on an alternate spread when it's already at 8, which is crazy. But it's Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. You definitely can't count him out. Super excited to watch this. Happy to see Doc Rivers get fired after they sent Joel Embiid packing yet again. See a James Harden, Philadelphia, sad city, just loses everything this past year. But yeah, it's going to be a great series here with the Heat. It always is with these two teams match up. I think you guys are probably leaning on the Celtics. Mac, you might be on the Heat here, but I'm eager to hear what you have to say about this series.
I just don't like the juice on the Celtics. It's just way too many points, especially when Jimmy Butler can just go off any game. And by the way, Jason Tatum said he's one of the best players in the world after shooting 5 for 21, and his team kind of bailed him out in that one. He hit a few nice threes at the end to seal it out, but got to be a little more humble there, Tatum. But yeah, he backed it up with 51 points, Game 7. Obviously, an incredible performance, and now we're seeing Celtics Heat. But I do like the Celtics to win this series. I just don't think that the Heat are getting enough credit. I mean, I saw something that was like Celtics have a 97% chance of making the finals at this point. Like, yeah, I think that they should be favored maybe around 85%, but you're giving Jimmy Butler 3% chance to get to the NBA Finals. I think it's a little disrespectful. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't know, but I don't think this will be easy for the Celtics. I think they get it done, but it could be a deep series. I think at least 6, probably 7.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that nonsense stat, like, what even is that? The ESPN index, it's always so wrong. Remember, it had Will Levis going in the top 3 picks. I mean, come on. But 97% to 3, like what? But I really like the Celtics to get it done here in 6. That's respect to the Heat. I think them getting it done in 6 is respect to that Heat team because of how deep they are.
Yeah, I really like them in Game 1 tonight. You said that. I almost took that alternate spread. I didn't. I like I got -8 whenever I was looking at it, but I like them in Game 1. I like the Celtics to win this series. I think I'm going to go, like Mackie said, I do think it's a little bit longer of a series, 6, maybe 7. I do think Jimmy Butler is going to get his. I think this Heat team's still playing with the momentum. Like we talked about this Florida Panthers team playing with momentum. This Heat team's the same way. Everyone counted them out. They're the first 8 seed since 1999 to make the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I said, I definitely think Miami gets theirs, but I like the Celtics to win the series.
Yeah, the one thing that scares me about the Celtics team, not so much in this series, but whoever they play in the finals, if they get there, is that their inconsistency of getting the job done at home. I mean, they do come back and bounce back on the road, like we saw in Game 6 in Philadelphia, and then defended home court in Game 7. But it's 2-2 series, Game 5, and you let the Joel Embiid take over, and you lose Game 5 at home. You go into the NBA Finals against the Nuggets, and you're not going to be able to bounce back from that. So. Not so much in this series, like I said. I think that even if they drop a game at home, they'll be able to steal one back on the road. But that's scaring me from this team winning a title this year is their inconsistency of taking care of business at home.
I mean, the Boston Celtics. I'm gonna say it again here. We transition sports due to win a championship as well. They've been there. I mean, this core, the team that they've built. Still, the one thing that's crazy though, nobody really talks about it. I mean, it's basketball, though, so it doesn't really matter too much. But Joe Mazzulla, Rhode Island guy, first-year head coach in the
WVU guy. You also always forget to say that, WVU guy.
Yeah, WVU guy. Rhode Island. It's crazier. The thing is, a lot of people are WVU guys. Not many are Rhode Island guys.
There's like 7 people in that state.
Yeah, it's crazy, though. I mean, hey, we'll take the free publicity whenever we can get it. But I'm so excited to watch the Celtics team go off tonight and for the rest of the series, and hopefully we can get a Celtics-Lakers championship down the road, but that Western Conference is going to be a lot tougher than these Celtics who are sitting at -600.
Alrighty, boys, good stuff out of the Eastern Conference. Let's shoot our way over to the West. Los Angeles Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. This series has already started. Denver up 1-0 on the Lakers. Game 2 here on Thursday. Game 3 to follow on Saturday. What do you guys think is going to happen in this series here? Lakers and Nuggets.
I mean, it's already 1-0 Denver, but I think a lot of us expected Denver to win Game 1. Ace, I know you played the Lakers for half a unit, but that was probably just the value on it, I'm assuming. This Nuggets team is really hard to beat at home. They haven't been beat at home in the postseason yet. I think they had a pretty long streak in the regular season as well, not losing at home. So with them having home court throughout the playoffs, it's going to be hard to overcome that. But I don't know. I think they could definitely be beat. If anyone's going to beat them in the West, it's definitely going to be this Lakers team who has been playing best record since the All-Star break. That team is built for a championship now. You bring in the right role players around LeBron and AD. Good things happen. So we've seen this work before with the Lakers. So they definitely have their hands full in the series. But I think they can get it done. I still think that they win this series. I think you can get really good value on them right now after losing game 1.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I think we'll get some good value on them in game 2. Probably throw another half unit fish hook out there. Really don't think they'll get the job done with the stats that the Denver Nuggets have at home in this playoffs and since the All-Star break or whatever it is. But so much value. I mean, plus over 200 on LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Give me it every day. The most encouraging thing coming out of that game 1 was the fact that they kept it close at the end because they were getting blown out for a good portion of that game. But yeah, just to touch on that Lakers-Warriors series, I mean, what a series. The Lakers really asserting their dominance over Steph Curry and the boys. I really thought it was that team's deficiencies that showed up. But yeah, the Lakers still right there, still have that ticket. So if I can get Celtics-Lakers, I'm loving that. But I know Huff has really been high on these Nuggets all year. That's a great team with Jokic, Murray, and the rest of the crew. A lot of depth, tough place to play. Huff, I wonder what you're thinking for the series because you've been high on both these teams and you figured they both get here, and they are.
Yeah, obviously, like I said, this was going to be a win-win series if I ended up getting it, and now we're sitting here with Denver as a 1-0 series lead. I do have a future on the Nuggets, so I'm going to stick with my Nuggets pick to get there. I think the Nuggets win this series 6, maybe 7 games. It's going to be tough to win in LA, but I like the Nuggets' chances to start this series up 2-0. And then when the games 3 and 4 is going to be really interesting. If Denver's able to get one in LA in 3 or 4, I love the Nuggets' chances to win this series in 6 or 7 games. 5 is a little tough on their home floor, but I just think the LeBron, I love him to death, and it would not kill me to see him win this series. I just think this Nuggets team is really good. Jokic, I saw something, the first player, he has 30, 20, and 10 games. The only other players with it, one are Kareem and Wilt Chamberlain. Like this Jokic, the Joker, whatever you want to call him, he's the best player in the league right now, and I think this is the year he gets his ring.
The walking triple-double is what they should call him. And I was kicking myself when that game started that I didn't take that prop before just for the value in such a marquee matchup. And remember we hit it on Thanksgiving? I saw someone tweet the other day I should take Jokic triple-double every game. And I think I should do that. I mean, what a game 1.
Best player in the world he's been for the past few years, and you got to assume he's going to get one. So it definitely be his year.
Yeah, that whole team has been built for a run like this. So I'm honestly going to stick with the Lakers pick, as crazy as it sounds. As good as the Nuggets are, love them value now, too, like Mackie said. I mean, I think you might even get better value after game 2. But I think when you go back to LA, it's going to be crazy. And LeBron and AD can still on the road if they're on. Good role players. We've talked about them this whole run. I'll look into that value right now. But I do like that. I'll probably take them game-by-game basis is more likely for me. But it's hopefully it can go the distance this series, and hopefully the Lakers can pull it out and give us that Celtics-Lakers matchup that everybody loves to see.
Yeah, if you're the Lakers,
I think Jokic is going to steal the spotlight and just be that guy like he always is. Like he's never the guy that wants the spotlight.
Yeah, but
I said it. He likes being the guy behind the corner, but yeah, he's like, I'll just put up 30, 20, and 10 in game 1 and don't worry about it. Like,
yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, if you're the Lakers here, you just have to defend home court, and then you gotta hope.
Yeah, like I said, if the Nuggets get game 3 or 4, that's not a good look for the Lakers.
What about the backdoor cover too?
That was miraculous. I did have the Lakers plus 6.5. That was a miraculous backdoor cover. Thank you, Joker, for that missed free throw there at the end. That was big. I keep gassing you up, but that was a huge missed free throw for my wallet. But yeah,
I really think the Lakers are the better team, though. I just think Denver has the best player in the world. He can single-handedly at the end of the game win a game. So, but the role players in the Lakers are just so good, and they feed AD and LeBron so well. I love this Lakers team. They might run into a brick wall here, but I just love this Lakers team. I really think they win this series.
Yeah, like I said, it kills me to go with the Nuggets. It's just that at this point, I'm just going with who I've gone with all season.
You can't be wrong with either of these teams. They're just both really good basketball teams.
Yeah.
Good stuff, boys. We got a good conference final coming up here in the NBA. Heat and Celtics, Lakers and Nuggets. I got a couple other points here in the NBA. Start off something to go along with the draft here. The San Antonio Spurs have received the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft after seeing their 14% chance for their number 1 pick to draft Victor. I'm going to butcher this. Wembanyama. I was close. Wembanyama to draft Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama is minus 20,000 to be the first overall pick in this year's draft. Very interesting there. Any comments?
Yeah, I think this is the team that everyone wanted to see him go to. I think compared to Detroit or Charlotte, I think the Spurs were kind of the location that most of the NBA fans kind of predicted and wanted to see him go. You get to see him in a first-class organization with the Spurs. I've never been a huge Spurs guy, but the success they've had with foreign players and stuff like that, I think that's where most people wanted to see him go, and I'm really excited to see him play for the Spurs.
The France connection. Tony Parker's from France too.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the picture of Wembanyama wearing the Tony Parker jersey when he was younger at the Spurs number 9?
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I mean, the NBA wanted the Spurs to get this pick too. Obviously, you don't want to see a player like this go to the Detroit Pistons. LeBron already carried an organization out of poverty, so the next generational talent like this, Wembanyama, I think people are saying he's an even bigger prospect than LeBron James, which is crazy to say, but he can do it. He's definitely that guy. So it's going to be exciting to see this guy play in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm just excited that. Oh,
it's just the world that we live in that people say that is because Wembanyama has probably 5 million followers and like LeBron didn't, you know what I mean? That wasn't a thing back then. Like,
imagine social media was a thing back then.
Oh, NIL. Imagine NIL was a thing. Oh, his ass would have went to college.
I think it's great that he's going to the Spurs because he gets to get coached by Popovich there. Not only that, I think I saw a quote today that was pretty funny. It said, Dave Robinson and Tim Duncan must be chuckling seeing the Spurs get him because it's just another big guy to dominate the paint for years to come. Continue that legacy of what they've got going on down there in San Antonio. Also, I saw him meeting Mbappe today, and he's 5'10", and he made him look like a toddler, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Did you see the kid shaking Mbappe's hand before Mbappe shook Wembanyama's hand? The kid comes up to like Mbappe's like hip, so he's like a little kid, and then the kid turns around and looks at Wembanyama, and he's like, it is crazy how tall he is. Like, because you said Mbappe is like looking at him like this, like he's a foot and a half taller than him. The kid comes up to like under his hip.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
All right, my next point in the NBA. Some coach news. The 76ers fired their head coach, Doc Rivers, after his third straight second-round exit. Who do we see getting replaced in Philadelphia? Anyone specific?
Mackie, weren't you the one that said, that you saw a couple people that were supposedly rumored to go to be in the...
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to remember all of them off the top of my head. D'Antoni, Budenholzer, Nurse, and Vogel. That's his name, right? The old Lakers coach.
The Lakers' old coach. Yeah.
Frank Vogel.
Yeah, Frank Vogel. That's his name. Those are the 4 that were rumored. Woj, according to Woj. So I don't know. It'd be cool to see Budenholzer go from one powerhouse in the East to the next. He won with the Bucks. If he went there and went with the Sixers, he'd have a lot of credit. After he took the Bucks there, obviously with Giannis, and then you can come into the Sixers and take over that organization just for trying to get over the hump for 8 years now since Joel Embiid's been there. So,
that's crazy.
That'd be
to
really
think
cool.
That's that long.
It'd be really cool. Yeah, it's insane. I think it's 7 actually. I don't think it's been 8, but
I think it was 2014.
No, it wasn't 2014.
15.
I thought it was 16. No, 16 was Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, I think it was 15, dude. It'd be 8 years.
Wait, no, Markelle Fultz was 18.
Michael Carter Williams was 13.
Well, was Ben Simmons 16 or 17?
Simmons was 16, and Embiid was already there.
Maybe it was 14.
And Jahlil Okafor was 14, and Embiid was 15. I think that's my final prediction.
I think Okafor was 13.
Okay. All right. Now we're just guessing at this point.
Yeah. We are really just guessing. I'm going to go find out. But you guys can keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much else to say on this, but yeah, I think that's a good point. If Budenholzer does go there and win there, what's win? They just need to get to the conference finals, to the finals. Like, I mean,
no, they gotta win. They gotta win. But
yeah.
All right, I got you. Hold up. Damn, they drafted McCall Bridges.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was a trade at the draft, but they drafted him. Markelle Fultz was 2017, Ben Simmons 2016, Okafor 15, Joel Embiid 2014.
My original thing was right. My original thing
9 years. Granted, the first 2-3 years he didn't play.
Dude, we were hearing trust the process from 2014 to 2017. Like,
yeah, because Michael Carter was before that. Damn.
Jahlil Okafor was what year? 13.
Jahlil Okafor.
12?
15.
Oh, 15. He was after Embiid.
Yeah, the year after. But remember, Embiid didn't step on the court for 2 years, 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just can't figure it out. They're drafting the right actually, not even drafting the right players. Markelle Fultz and Ben Simmons just didn't work out for obvious reasons. But
And Jahlil Okafor?
Yeah, you're right. Joel Embiid was actually their only good pick. I guess Ben Simmons was a good pick at the time. Just kind of faded out.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, they've had success, but he said it. We can't win alone. Me and James can't win alone. How you like that take from an MVP? Let's bring that up real quick.
It's true, though. The NBA is not like it used to be. You need 5 good players to actually be on your team. You need 2 superstars and 3 good role players.
Yeah, but like you don't think
and
you're not they're starting 5 isn't bad in my opinion. Like
they don't have a bench either though.
Yeah, they don't have a bench.
Maxey is really their only reliable role player in my opinion. Tobias Harris is brutally awful.
Tobias Harris is so bad, but
watching him play basketball is.
I'm not saying you're relying on PJ Tucker to do much, but like that's a huge piece to have on a team like that.
Huge, but he can't play 48 minutes a game.
No.
And who's coming in for him? I couldn't even tell you who's coming in for him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, they definitely have some building to do. I don't know if Harden will stay there either, so might get a lot.
No, he just opted out.
Yeah, but he could re-sign. Obviously,
yeah, he could re-sign for $150 million. They literally just end up giving them more money.
Yeah, he wants a long term. Just because he's gonna just fuck around for the next 3 years and then retire and keep getting paid for 5 extra.
Yeah, he should go to the Spurs. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and then once he leaves, Wembanyama will be perfectly ready for a championship.
Yeah.
Alrighty, yeah, and this last point. Grizzlies suspend Ja Morant as he flashes a gun on IG Live yet again. Second incident of this in the last few months. What does this do for his career? Where do we see him ending up after this suspension? Big liability.
It's crazy because I saw JJ Redick say something about how it's really not he's not breaking any laws, but it's the fact that you're the face of the young NBA. Everyone looks up to you. You have that many people looking up to you, and you're on IG Live flashing a gun. You're from the suburbs. Just act like it. You got money. It's reverse. Like he's doing it reverse. You got the money and now you're in the trenches.
And he's due. Like I saw, obviously he didn't make the All NBA or whatever that is to be qualified for the Supermax, so he's only eligible for 194 million instead of 238. Like, oh no. But I don't know. That's just not a good look. I mean, after this, it's different if this happened years apart. But this was 3 months ago. We were talking about him in Denver with the gun or whatever.
He went to rehab, missed a game, I think, and then came right back and did the same exact
No, he
thing.
He missed 8 games.
No, but he was only suspended for 2 of them, I think, because he was in rehab for the other time.
He wasn't in rehab, I'll tell you that.
He wasn't in obviously. What would you even go to rehab for?
All right, Ja. When you're on Instagram Live, don't touch the gun. And they just put him on Instagram Live, and it's like a timer. It's like, how long can he go without touching it? And they just like start playing different songs, and like he like starts looking at it, and they're like, don't fucking do it.
His homeboy tried to help him too. It was like real quick. He saw the gun.
He saw it. He turned the camera. He probably looked at him like, dude,
you stupid motherfucker, man.
Yeah. He's the one not trying to work the rest of his life. He's like, dude, I'm trying to just be your friend and hang out, and like you're trying to flash a gun.
Ja Morant has to flex because he can't flex anything else.
Yeah, he just lost the first round.
He's fine in the West, though.
Yeah, he's
fine in the West.
Shout out Desmond Bain.
I really used to love Ja Morant, but he's just giving me so many reasons to not like him. Just smarten up a little. Do what you want to do. Just don't do it on social media. Everyone knows how important that is to keep things off social media nowadays, and you're still doing it.
It's so funny.
Ace, those Red Sox are rolling.
Yeah, Marco Gonzalez sucks. I figured we'd hit him hard. That's why I took the over, because I can trust the over more than us winning.
Yeah, I took him in a parlay. Oh, that fucking Diamondbacks over didn't hit. That's so gay.
It was 3-3 I saw. What would it end?
5-3. 5-3.
Dude, I had the Reds and they were up 4-0, and I had the starting pitcher in fantasy. I checked in the 5th inning, it was 4-0. I looked at the end of the game, it was 11-5. They lost. I was like, what the fuck?
It was 5-0. I actually took him too. It was 5-0, and they gave him 11 straight runs. I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
It was in Coors Field.
And the Twins are up 3-2, and this guy comes in, walks 3 straight guys, and then gives up a grand slam.
That's crazy, dude. The Reds won, like, that's because they're in Coors Field 11 in a row. Dodgers, you can't. That's good.
It's tough, man. I took a tough beating this afternoon. Got to bounce back though.
Yep. Tonight.
Alrighty, boys. Great review of the NBA round 2 and round 3 here, rounding up or happening this week. Let's jump over to the NFL. The schedule was released last week. I'm curious to hear what you guys think of your team schedules in that, but I'm going to go over what some of the changes are and such. Again, May 11th, last Thursday, the schedules were released. We're going to have the first ever Black Friday game. It's going to be the Dolphins versus the New York Jets. The Thursday night season opener will be in Kansas City. The defending Super Bowl champs will place host in the opening game of the season. International games, we're going to have 3 in London, 2 in Frankfurt, Germany. The 2 in London are going to be October 1st, week 4, Jags versus Atlanta. And the second one is going to be October 8th, week 5, Jags versus Bills. Jags will be the first team to play consecutive games overseas. That's happening again on week 4 and 5. The third game in London will be October 15th, week 6, Ravens versus Titans. And moving over to Frankfurt, Germany, November 5th and week 9 will be the Dolphins versus Kansas City. November 12th, week 10 will be the Colts versus the Patriots. Ace, your Patriots will be playing in Frankfurt, Germany, November 12th. Some Monday night changes with the new media contract. It allows for 3 doubleheader Mondays this season, up 1 from last year. The NFL will also be able to flex Monday night games starting week 12. The Christmas tripleheader, the second straight year of this, first Monday tripleheader with Christmas on a Monday this year. So, going to be a wild year as we see. New Year's Eve, December 31st, the clash of contenders, the 2 AFC champs, the Bengals and the Chiefs, will be competing on New Year's Eve. Thursday night football, teams could be given 2 short week games. This is a rule approved by NFL owners. So very interesting there. And then I have teams with the most primetime games. The Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Bills all have 6 primetime games as of now. Giants, Packers, Eagles, Jets, 49ers, Raiders, and Vikings have 5. The Ravens, the Patriots, the Broncos, Steelers, Lions, Bears, and Bengals have 4. So I'm very curious again to hear what you guys think your team's schedules. Ace, the Patriots, how you think their schedule is. Mackie, Cowboys, Huff, Steelers. Ace, why don't you start us off? What do you think?
Yeah, before I get into the Patriots schedule itself, I really wanted to touch on some of those things you were mentioning. First off, I'm very excited for all those games on the holidays this year. Black Friday, New Year's Eve, Christmas Day. I mean, no better time than the NFL to really go into that. That's everybody's favorite sport to watch. So we know that'll be dominating TVs when the families are gathered around. Further than that, I like to see that there's 5 international games this year. I know it's tough on the players, and it's tough that like when my team personally has it because it's like not a true game, even though it's counted as one. But it's good to see them growing the game. 2 in Germany. Shout out to some of my buddies that are stationed over there. I know they're going to make some trips to that game. And then the ones in London as well. We know those always do well. But yeah, I thought that it was pretty interesting. I don't know about you, Mackie and Huff, but the fact that you can flex Monday night football games, you know how much that must screw with coaches and players and their regimen and their routines. Like imagine you're supposed to play Monday night football at 8:30. Like now we're flexing you to Sunday at 1:00 now, or vice versa.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of these schedule changes. I like all the, adding it on all the international games, and then they have the games on New Year's Eve and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But one thing I wanted to say, everyone talks shit about all these Cowboys and stuff, but they got 6 primetime games this year, along with the Chiefs, Chargers, and Bills. They're 3 powerhouse teams that the NFL love to promote. So those Cowboys are still up there, no matter what anyone says about them. So
I like those Cowboys too. I enjoy watching them. I mean, one of the most iconic franchises, especially in the prime time too. You always make for a great game, whether it be a heartbreak or a hero moment. More so the heartbreak in recent memory. But
what do you mean recent? All memory.
Yeah, but still, I mean, great players on that team. Big market. Everybody loves seeing those stars running across their screen on the helmet, and down at Jerry World especially. So. My favorite's still going to stick as Thursday Thanksgiving football. That's got to be my favorite. But my takeaway from this is just the flexing of Monday night games. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, so can they, Ice, I don't know if they can, like, if you're scheduled Monday, I don't know if they can pull you back to Sunday. I feel like they have to give you so much of a window on that. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like they'd have to.
Yeah, I feel like minimum would be Tuesday. You'd have to know. They have to know a week in advance, definitely, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to know before you play the previous week's games because the preparation is so different from post game on to the next one. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the way they do it now almost anyways, right? You get your flex announcement during that Sunday. Yeah. So, I mean, that's still pretty cool though, because remember when we had to watch Russell Wilson in the prime time so often? I mean, that would have been flexed out for Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill or something like that plenty of times.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely why they add this in there.
Yeah, but great schedule making by the NFL this year. A lot of great matchups, holiday matchups, marquee matchups. The double headers on Monday, I already love that. I mean, now you get one extra one. Yeah, it will be exciting. And make that rule about not having everybody get a primetime game or whatever, that's nice too. So we don't have to watch those bad teams when they're the only ones on. Like I'm almost set with the Redskins or Commanders whenever they're playing.
Who were the teams that didn't get one? Was it the Falcons, Texans? Who's the third one? There was 3 teams that didn't get it.
Let's take a shot in the dark here. If I had to guess,
I think it was the Commanders. I think it would be.
I mean, they're probably one of the least valued franchises, so.
Cardinals, Falcons, Texans, Colts.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen with the Colts and Cardinals, huh?
Colts could be on the up and up with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, no, but still, think about like that franchise as a whole from the Peyton Manning era. Imagine having no primetime games. I mean, Kyler Murray signing that big contract a year ago, and now he's not in the primetime. That's nuts. Cardinals fans must be in disarray. The Falcons, I mean, those Colts and Texans too. Like, I could see that as a Thursday night game itself, especially the 2 young quarterbacks. So I guess I am kind of mad that they did that. I think everybody deserves their spotlight. But what are you going to do? I mean, we'll get great football nonetheless. I can never complain about it.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Mackie, your Dallas Cowboys win total set at 9.5. The over being -150. What do you think?
I think it's a really good line. I think they'll flirt right around there. Pending how we can close out games. We're gonna have a shit ton of close games. We're just gonna see if Dak can close them out. usually pretty good in the regular season, getting wins. So I like the over. I think we'll finish at probably 10-7, maybe 11-6, flirting with that wild card spot. I don't think we're going to win the division, but I think that's a really good line. I wouldn't really advise either way. I think it could definitely swing real easily, but I don't really have the most hopes for this Cowboys team this year. They didn't really do much in the offseason. If anything, I think we got a little worse. So I don't know. This team's kind of steady, just not doing much right now.
Huff, what do you think? Steelers 8.5 wins over sitting at -132.
What was the over under that you had?
8.5.
Yeah, I like that over. I was looking at the Steelers schedule. I think it's pretty friendly. A lot of the teams that we have to play that are more upper echelon NFL teams, like the 49ers, we get week 1 at home. Mike Tomlin has all offseason to prepare for that one. So games like that are usually I could maybe mark as an L on my Steelers schedule. I think, are different kinds of games when they're at home, and it's a cross-country flight for teams like the 49ers. But I like the over on the Steelers. I looked at the schedule. I have them getting right around 10 or 11 wins. Obviously, everyone's going to be a little bit biased towards their team, but I have very high expectations for Kenny Pickett coming into this year with the things that the Steelers have addressed. I think 8.5 going over for sure, but I really like that. Like I said, I had them sitting right around 10, maybe 11, but there's a couple games I could see go either way. It's kind of a coin flip, and that's any given Sunday. We say that all the time in the NFL. So, but I like the Steelers to go over.
Week 1 specifically, I actually really like the Steelers in that game, just because you remember last year the 49ers opened their season to a loss to the Bears. Only had 3 wins the entire season, 4 wins maybe at the end of it. Got one at the end, but yeah, I mean
last year week 1 the Steelers beat the Bengals in Cincinnati as well.
And who are the Niners even starting at quarterback? They're gonna have complications. They're gonna be going up against a really tough defense. I really like the Steelers in that matchup.
Yeah, I'll be on the other side of that one. But I do like the Steelers win total over 8.5 on the year. I actually do. I'm high on that team and lower on some of the divisional foes, and with the way their regular schedule stacks up in terms of strength of schedule, it's pretty weak. And Mike Tomlin always finds a way to have a winning season, so why wouldn't it go 8.5 over, right?
Yeah, see, I don't really love the over. I like them week 1, but I don't know how I feel about that season win total.
It's Mike Tomlin. He has positive winning records.
You're right. There is that, but Kenny Pickett I don't love him yet. I think he's shown signs that he can get it done, but I gotta see it to believe it.
In my opinion, this is the 3rd best team in the AFC North with potential to beat the 1st and 2nd best team. And outside of that, they have a weak schedule around that divisional matchup. For the Cowboys, I like the over there too. Probably like both of your teams' overs more than mine with our strength of schedule. But Jesse, what's that number sitting at for the Pats?
The Pats are sitting at 7.5. The over is -105.
Oof. I mean, great value. I mean, Mackie, that's the one thing that was scaring me from your Cowboys was it being -150 on over 9.5. I do like it, but that's a steep price. The Patriots at -105. That's basically even money to go at least 8 and 9. I do like that. That's the toughest of the 3 with the schedule they have. But I think that division's a bit overrated compared to what people think. Yeah, I'll ride the over on all 3, which is crazy. But these are 3 good teams. The Steelers and the Patriots criminally disrespected with great coaches, and all they have to do is go 500 or Patriots just under 500. With those defenses that they've built, there's no way that they do that. They're not going to be a juggernaut that's rattling off 13 or 14 wins, but they're going to be in the mix come the end of the season. And to do that, you have to have 8 or 9 wins. So Mackey's team, I really think that the NFC is really weak. I think that the Eagles are really good, but not as good as they were last year. And the Giants are an overrated team. Commanders, that's easy business. I like all of those to hit. The tough thing is going to be those Cowboys having to play in the prime time for 6 games, so their opponents up their talent for that one. But it'll be interesting to see. What's crazy to me, I'm surprised I haven't said this much before, is that the Cowboys, they still have Mike McCarthy as a coach.
Yeah.
That's sadly, crazy to me. I think that guy's an awful coach. I thought that since the first year he went there, and he's still there.
Every Cowboy fan thought that he was done after that playoff loss last year. And the first thing Jerry Jones had to say was that he's keeping his head coach. I kind of think Jerry Jones is more of the problem at this point, but yeah, Mike McCarthy is just not the answer. You got to get rid of him. That was a terrible call by him, and that's why I think we're stagnant right now. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, but I still like them to get double-digit wins this year for sure. They could rattle off between 11 and 13, in my opinion, coming in at somewhere. If they don't win their division, then they'll be the first wild card. But if they can win that division, they can be a top 3 seed, in my opinion. Steelers and Patriots, I just think they'll be in the hunt come time. So give me the over on all 3. But maybe a little biasy, but I like that.
Alrighty, boys. Good stuff there. Lots of good stuff to look forward to as the NFL season comes and approaches here. We will definitely have more segments on that in on what we think our teams are going to do here going into this season. Alrighty, yeah. So we released our first inaugural power rankings that we're looking to try to do each and every week. In the MLB. Let me run through these here real quick. At number 5, we have the Minnesota Twins. At number 4, Texas Rangers. Number 3, the Atlanta Braves. Number 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And number 1, the Tampa Bay Rays. We're curious to hear what our fans think about our rankings as well. I think we got some good comments on this about the Orioles and such. What do you guys think? Fair.
Yeah, so
all right, you can pass to me if you want. I can start if you want me to.
All right, Ace, you just
All right, Ace, what do you think about the power ranking?
Yeah, I mean, not up for discussion at all. I mean, we put a lot of work into this. We all sent in our own picks, and it's pretty consistent with what you see everywhere. But those Tampa Bay Rays, I mean, how do you argue them out of that first spot? Best team in the AL East, not like the Baltimore Orioles. We're sitting there a few pegs down. I know people are murmuring that they should be in these rankings, but not yet. We got to wait to give them their flowers. It's only May. That young squad of theirs, I like what they have going down there in Baltimore, but not just yet. Hold your horses. They will be there soon enough, though, if they can continue this strong play. But until then, the only AL East team we had up in that ranking was the Tampa Bay Rays, and rightfully so, in my opinion. Huff, you want to rip through the rest of that 2nd through 5th list that we had? Pretty consistent throughout all of us.
1 second, Jesse. Ever since we restarted, the volume's coming out of my Mac now. Like, I still hear it in my headphones, but
it's also coming out of your Mac?
Yeah.
Okay, so then for that, you need to go. What happens if you turn your Mac volume down? Test 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Yeah, now actually. Okay, so I can't hear it in my headphones now. I only hear it in my Mac, I guess.
Okay, so then you need to go. Go into setting or like system preferences. Go to sound. Go to output.
1 second, sorry.
You're good.
Output.
What's it set? What's it set at? Your speakers.
Got it. Yeah.
So set it for Yeti Nano.
Got it.
Cool.
We're all set.
Cool. Alrighty. Where were we?
Yeah. Yeah, so and then at number 2, obviously, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers, a team that wasn't too hot to start the season and a tough, weird NL West to start, as we've seen the Diamondbacks continue this kind of pretty good start that they've had, and the Padres are the Padres. So the Dodgers have had a pretty bit of a tough schedule to start, but they've prevailed over the past couple of weeks, and rightly so, sitting at that number 2 spot. Number 3, right where they should be. You could argue number 2, the Atlanta Braves. Possibly one of the best teams in baseball, top to bottom, whole lineup. Number 4, Texas Rangers. Like we said, I like the Texas Rangers here for reasons we said. Corey Seager, he's not even playing yet, and they're still doing this good. DeGrom, that whole lineup, I really like what the Texas Rangers are doing. And then a team that's been hot lately with Gallo and a bunch of other additions that they've made. Byron Buxton, he's been there for the past couple of years. But the Minnesota Twins, they've been getting the job done silently in a pretty bad division. Not going to put it any other way, but AL Central isn't really anything too special this year, with teams like the White Sox and the Guardians not really having their best starts to their seasons. But I really like what Minnesota's put together. But Mackie, I don't know if you have anything else to say, but I think the Dodgers at number 2, kind of a not necessarily a surprise, but a team that definitely has turned it around over the past couple of weeks. And like we said, I think the Rays is the unanimous number one overall pick across any power rankings you're going to see in baseball right now. But Dodgers at number 2, I like that spot for them.
Yeah, I would say 1 and 2, where nobody can really say anything about that. You're not changing 1 or 2. Braves definitely a top 3 team in the league. They skid a little. They were on a 4-game losing streak, so that's why I personally had them a little lower. But definitely a top 3 team in the league. Respect them at 3 as well. And yeah, the Twins and Rangers. Rangers are just surprising a lot of people right now. They added a lot of pieces in the offseason, and it's definitely showing for them. They're playing some really good baseball right now, and the Twins are just playing some good baseball in that tough division. But yeah, like Ace was saying, the Orioles not making it. One of the teams that just made it, just right out the just missed the top 5. Them and the Brewers. Brewers were right outside the top 5 as well. There's only 5 teams, so obviously you're gonna have some upset fan bases that aren't gonna squeak into the top 5. But it's a long season. We do this every Tuesday, and hopefully we'll see some of those teams fluctuate into the top 5.
Yeah, on top 5 watch coming in the next week. I think we got the Blue Jays, the Orioles, the Brewers, and a few others. But those are the ones that I'm really looking at to make a jump coming into this next week.
Maybe those Yankees. They're playing some good baseball recently. I know it's going to be tough to see Ace put them in the top 5, but
no, that's right. In the regular season, they can be ranked as high as they want. When it matters, they don't know how to win.
Like those Boston Bruins.
Well, at least the Bruins have a cup, Mackie. How about those New York Rangers? We should compare them to those hometown heroes in New York. Or the New York Knicks. Or the New York Knicks, dude. Come on. Like, remember them? We forget about them already?
I don't even love the Knicks.
No, but they just follow suit to the rest of the New York teams. Lose, lose, lose. Aaron Rodgers just signed a bag to do the same thing, too.
Oh, I hate the Jets, too. They're Jersey. I don't even count them.
Well, your Mets are doing the same thing, so nothing new there.
Yeah, well, when you've been doing it for 23 years, you just kind of become numb to the pain. So your words don't really do anything to me anymore.
No, what's tough is who keeps taking those Mets? Me. I don't know why. Justin Verlander let me down the other day, but
dude, you took him yesterday against the Rays at -165.
No, I didn't take him. Well, I had him in fantasy yesterday, and I didn't actually take them, but I took him maybe it was his first start. I think he lost.
Yeah, these Mets lines, dude, they've been favorites the last 2 days against the Rays. They just it makes zero sense.
Yeah, no,
I
wouldn't have bet him against the Rays. No shot. I think it might have been Verlander's debut this season. He lost.
Oh, when he gave the 2 home runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mets are definitely the most disappointing team of this season so far. I haven't given up on them. I think that they can definitely turn it around. They have the roster to do it. They just need to get the pitching back in order. But, yeah, pretty embarrassed to be a Mets fan right now. I'm not going to lie.
So is it safe to say that I have the best team in baseball out of our podcast right now?
At the moment, 1,000%. It is safe to say that. But
let's go Sox. Whenever they're supposed to be terrible, they're great.
There's an actual chance that none of our teams make it to the MLB playoffs this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rich Hill had something to say about that for the Buccos today, so you never know.
That was a big win today for the Buccos. I didn't really have too much faith in them. They come out in 8-0 performance, and I've had no confidence in Rich Hill. So my opinion on this Pirates team has changed over the past couple of weeks, obviously, as they've caught a losing streak and haven't really looked to pick it back up since. But still sitting in second place in the division, a game back on the Brewers. So, but the Brewers are a good team.
Yeah, I agree, Huff. I've been taking those Brewers. I know Jesse has as well. They've been coming out plus odds a lot the last few days, and they keep getting the job done. Pretty deep lineup and a good staff there. One of the best closers in baseball, Devin Williams. So expect to see them in the coming weeks. But happy we got our inaugural rankings out of the way.
For sure. Like Mackie said, expect those every Tuesday when we release those on Instagram and Twitter. So lots to look forward to in the MLB as we're just mid-season now. Lots to look forward to. I got one more point here before we wrap up the episode. Americans have legally bet $220 billion on sports since 2018 per MarketWatch. So go America.
That is insane. That is insane. 220 billion?
Billion.
Yeah, that's wild.
It is. It is.
And there's still states that don't have it.
You're very right. Exactly. All right, I think that's going to wrap up our episode this week. Make sure you keep an eye out. We're in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals right now, but coming up for the Stanley Cup Finals, we have a DraftKings prize pool. We want to make sure you all get in on it. $1,500 prize pool split across the top 3 winners. So I'm very excited for that. That's all I got to add. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, nothing else coming from me. Definitely stay tuned to that for the DraftKings stuff. But other than that, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Tap in, boys. Big time of the year. This is where the playoffs really matter. Conference finals. Here we go.
Yeah, NHL conference finals starting up soon, Thursday. So stay tuned for picks. Probably going to have one on almost every game.
And that's going to do it for us on this episode of Hit the Books. Thank you to everyone who tunes in each and every week. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here. So please like, share, and subscribe wherever you can. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for our plays each and every night in the NHL, NFL, MLB, NBA, college basketball, and college football. Thank you again, and see you next week.